Coaching Podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Artist Coaching Podcast with me and Jay Hardway for now. I'm not,
Hey, we're waiting for Ralph.
not sure
So
where Ralph is. He might pop in later. I guess he is.
I thought he was still in New York, but I could be wrong.
You could be right. Now that you're mentioning it,
He was in New York, so he would be have flown back pretty quickly.
he was there for the weekend, right? It's Wednesday.
Yeah, they had a show there, and then they stayed. So I don't exactly
Yeah,
know.
we'll see. Anyway, how have you been?
Good,
Yeah,
busy. Yeah, I've
busy.
it's release week, so I'm trying to finish a new song and coming up with content. And
I really liked that video you posted yesterday.
thanks.
Was it like a plugin or something that you used to make that
Nah,
effect?
editing skills. Editing skills. It's
Rad editing skills.
no, I used CapCut, which is
Oh,
from
that kept.
TikTok, and I because I was like yesterday I was in the studio and I was like I need a little break and I also wanted to post something, but I didn't know what. And I wanted to still preview my new song that's coming out on this Friday called Body Move. You can now preset. Uh,
Pre-save
so I
now.
went for a little walk, not to do anything. Just needed a walk. My blood sugar was high, so it also was good to have a little walk for that reason. And then thought of like I thought of oh wait, doorbell. I thought of time lapse as a maybe some I could do something with that as content. So I literally put the camera down to a cool wall here in the neighborhood, and I did some poses. And then in the editing software, I found some cool effects. And then I was like, hey, this actually is really cool. And then I realized that I also I love that about this day and age where you can have an idea and literally an hour later it can be fully edited online.
Yeah.
And that's just cool. It's there's
Yeah.
no excuse to have uh, no content, or you
True.
can edit everything yourself easily on the phone for free. um, I mean, I did have the premium version of CapCut, I think. So Jeremy, Ralph, you just
Another
joining. We were just
subscription.
talking about all the subscriptions you have, like at home, like Netflix and stuff, but then also on your business, like Canva and Photoshop and
Splice.
ChatGPT, Splice, whatever.
Beatport.
Adds up,
Yeah,
adds up.
when I'm with the accountant, we have this um, post which is called hey, I'm
Out of
hello,
focus.
hello, hello, hello. Where? Come on, man. But there's this post which is called software, and it has been growing steadily every year.
It's insane, right?
It's crazy.
Yep, since these subscription-based models kicked in.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
By the way, hello, Ralph. We were just talking. We thought you might be in New York still, but
No, no, no. I came home yesterday morning,
hmm,
and yeah, was a nice trip. Then I went to the studio, did my shit there, finishing up stuff because we have a short week this week. Tomorrow I have the kids,
hmm.
and on Friday as well. So decided to yeah, to
What were
just step it up a notch and to finish a lot.
what were you doing in New York?
We had two shows there, and since we play a venue called Nebula quite a lot,
Mm-hmm.
I was just curious how it is. Wanted to meet the people behind it, get to know them, and also they were asking about me from time to time. They all know Marlon, of course, and so we had a nice dinner and we had a nice night, and yeah, that's always good to know. It's good to know what you're actually making music for.
Yeah, when you see it in live, in
Yeah,
real life.
definitely.
Yeah,
And it's an amazing club. Plus, also New York's not a bad place to go.
it's great.
I haven't been
So
to the
on
club, but the
Sunday
team.
we went full tourist and did some cool stuff.
Hmm. Nice. What did you want to say, Jay?
I haven't seen the club, but the team is super lovely from Nebula.
Hmm.
They're always in Amsterdam during ADE.
Yeah,
So They
You're
offered me
coming.
also numerous shows every time, but I don't have a visa, so it's a bit of a technical
You don't have a
problem.
visa? Why not?
Yeah, good question. Great question.
You can apply for one.
Yep.
Yeah, I should. I should.
You did shows in the States, right?
Yeah, yeah, a lot. Yeah, I would go a lot before COVID, and then during COVID, my visa ended,
It became
and
harder, right, to
we
get
never
one.
renew. Yeah, a little bit, but I also stopped working with my agent in the US, so that's the main problem.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I need to find an agent first, and
Yeah.
you
I mean,
do need to find an agent. It's not per
it's
se
like
harder to get a visa, or?
no, I know, but like the agent is mostly
Yeah,
the
that's
reason there.
yeah.
So that yeah, that's the main issue.
Okay. Nice.
Well, not nice.
Yeah, not nice, but nice to have catched up on what your
Hmm.
plans are. Um, did you guys see the Jobke sent it, right? The AMF lineup.
Yep.
It's pretty cool, and I just noticed. I wasn't aware, at least maybe you were, but there's a duo debuting who are gonna play together.
Is it
Afro,
Afrojack and Gregor Salto?
yeah, Afro Salto, and I was pretty surprised by that.
I
Okay.
know. Now, Gregor Salto is working for the Wall team, and he think he
Mm.
does the talent branch. I
Oh,
mean,
really?
he's the one that leads the academy. Let's call it that because I think it's called that also. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
The
Wall
Wall
Academy, I
Academy,
believe. Yeah.
and he is doing. I mean, of course, Gregor has big knowledge of the scene. He was big and going all over the place before we even started.
He
So
had a few big tracks. Really
yeah,
big
yeah,
one.
like a lot.
Yeah.
And now he's working with the team. And actually saw Gregor and Afrojack also at Tomorrowland Winter, and then we had a talk and. They were making music. Gregor Salto is all about using a lot of cool drums, a little bit of ethnic sounds in there, and they found a way to blend it together with the electro of Afrojack and
So they made new
yeah,
music together as well.
yeah,
Oh, wow. Interesting. Looking
and
forward to
that's
that.
apparently called Afro Salto. I didn't know that, but yeah, they're doing some kind of a pre-party, right?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something was on the flyer. I don't know
Yeah,
where I saw it, but I
yeah,
I, I
in the
thought it
group
was
chat.
I
Exclusive pre-show set, it says.
pre-shows it. Yeah, I haven't seen
Does that
Gregor
mean before
Salto.
the doors are open, or
Hmm?
does that mean before the doors are open, or how does that
Bathroom
work?
set.
For the crew.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to that. Looks amazing. That whole lineup looks amazing, to be
I
honest.
think it's a really good lineup.
Yeah,
It's a good
So,
it's
what did you
reflective
guys? Why
of
is it a good
the.
lineup?
I think it's
I
very
think it's very reflective of what is popular right
exactly.
now.
That's what I thought as well. It's pretty uh, broad, as in different kinds of genres. It's all probably EDM, but different types of artists. Um, yeah, and the most of the people who are relevant at the moment.
Well said.
Yeah, so
No,
that's
I
what
think also it's a good
in
lineup. It
in
shows the state of the dance scene.
yeah,
Yeah.
in regards to what we talked about last week. So what's a perfect lineup? I think they nailed it pretty much this time for putting down a decent lineup.
I
Yeah,
think it's
well,
the main stage. It's just a really good main stage lineup. I think for what
mm,
right now is popular with the general crowd.
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
well, what I actually noticed is that it's pretty fast-paced and quite hard. Because if I look at it, the softest playing artist, think is John Summit,
Yeah, I think so
maybe
too.
Morton, but yeah. And that's already, I mean, he also plays 140 during his set.
Oliver
And
Eldens.
I mean, there's nothing in between, less. I mean, there's actually tech house is a little bit missing. So for me, yeah, Kiki, Armin, Hartwell, they all play 150 BPM
Yeah,
during the sets. Sarah Landry even pushes up a notch, not to speak about Sub-Zero project. I mean, I think they're closing.
Yeah, I think
And
they're
then Oliver
closing.
also plays quite fast-paced and hard techno-y. So for me, actually, it was like, if this is it, it's and also it's Europe, you know.
Does Oliver
It
play like techno-y now, or is that his high-low?
Yeah, I mean, it's he plays techno-y.
Huh.
Mm.
I
As
haven't really
Hilo,
seen
it's
a setup from
obviously a
him.
little bit more raw, but yeah, he plays cool tracks. I remember he also played the Tiesto remake by Bjorn. What's it called? It's more like Schans actually. It's a really cool track.
Scons, wow. Okay.
So no, that was what amazed me. Like, okay,
Mm.
we're actually in for a treat.
Yeah,
So
I'm definitely gonna try to visit this year. Haven't been there
ADE
previous.
or AMF?
No, AMF. I've been at ADE before, every year actually, especially with our own event as well. But normally I don't really go to like late night sessions. And
Mm,
AMF is gonna be a late one probably. So
old man speaking.
old man speaking. Yep,
Sounds like
exactly.
someone embraced the boring life.
Now that you're starting about it, let's just give an update. I actually my brain is pretty baked because I've been writing all morning, and I think I'm approaching the end. I'm approaching the end. I'm trimming everything. I'm reorganizing everything. But that's the hardest part to me, as in it's so boring, like literally boring. It's so, oh man, like numbingly to look at all those words. And I think I have some sort of dyslexia, as in all the words just start to switch together and like it's
You're like that
intense.
meme, but then the one with the algebra, but
Yeah,
then with the words.
yeah,
From The Hangover.
exactly. Like it costs me so much energy to do it, but it's also some sort of resistance to go through. So I actually like it. Time really flies by when you sit down for 3 4 hours. It's just gone.
And will it be as much fun also to read? Because,
Yeah, it
Will
is.
we also be baked, or will we be
yeah. Or
easily?
will we
No,
have nice sleepful nights?
I think it's very nice to read, but it's just that the re-editing is so, yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. No, not my thing.
And does ChatGPT help?
Yeah, it helps. Well, not what it really helps with is giving feedback. So what I do is I upload like the PDF versions and then say give me feedback on this, like professional feedback, and don't hold back. So you get a lot of good feedback in terms of writing skills and in terms of how to position the book. Um, so yeah, that's where it really helps. Yeah.
Yeah, it
And it
makes it
helps,
more
of course, with
readable.
and it helps with rephrasing like properly English, because I write it in English myself, but it's Dutch English, so there's a lot of grammar mistakes.
Hello,
um
everyone.
yeah,
My name is
exactly.
Joey.
Yeah,
That's
so that's
actually
where it
proper
helps as
English.
well.
Just the accent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to make like fluent sentences and stuff, that's where it helps as well. True. Anyway.
Yeah, I use
Anywho,
ChatGPT for that as well. Like even in emails, when I'm like, oh, I need to figure out a way how to say this,
Yeah,
and then sometimes I just say like, hey, I want to say it like this, but then a bit more kind sounding,
yeah,
and then it just comes up with a few options, and you can then it's really helpful.
yeah. But what
I'm
you
actually curious what would be the last three prompts you gave into ChatGPT. You can see your history there.
For me, it's all about the book, but let me check the other ones. That's actually, it's the same question as let me show your search as history on Google. It's super personal.
I
Hmm.
actually did a press release that you're like for every release you write a well, for if you send it out to a promo service, a press release, so like about the
Oh
release
yeah.
and about your name and about with links in. And I had based on other press releases, had ChatGPT write me one, and then I corrected it, and then I said, now this needs to be included. Here's a quote of me, and then it inserted my whole quote in the press release, and I said, no, no, I don't want you to use the whole quote. Use parts of the quote and build a story around it. And then actually, I mean, like we talked about before, like press releases for a song, I don't think many people listen to it, but
No.
yeah, it does come up with pretty just like basic info on Hardway, and it puts it in a nice way, and then you add
Why do
little
you
wording.
make a press release?
I send it out to a promo service, and then they send it out to radio stations. So they
Okay.
always send that, and it's even like a newsletter from our agency gets that, and then
Yeah, no. No, I
always
was
the.
wondering if you were working with the PR.
I think um, PR agents would be very helpful if they have the right connections, but not for writing a press release. I think people who do that paid, they're gonna lose clientele.
When does it make sense to hire a PR agent? Because I get messages from clients every now and then who receive those automated emails from PR companies like, "Hey, I checked you on Instagram. Do you know that you can blah blah blah?" Um,
What, that's automated?
yeah, yeah,
Shit.
mostly automated.
I thought I was
But they
special.
get those emails and they all wonder like, should I invest into this? Is this like aside from those companies, like let's talk about the legit PR companies. When is it smart to invest in PR?
Are you
Um,
asking me or Jopke? Jopke.
Both.
Okay. Jopke.
I I think it's not that smart. I think yeah, it's they always ask a lot of money, and your name gets into some blogs if they have good connections. It gets like top coverage. I don't know. It's just it's one of those things where you can't really buy a hype around you. I just don't really believe in that. I think there should be a little hype, and then you can hire a PR agency to enhance that and like
You know, the game has changed.
fully
Yeah.
fully take how do you say like advantage of all the that your name is already a bit out there. But if you're not out there at all, I don't see how it would make a huge difference.
Yeah. It can always make a difference, but I totally agree. But the game has changed so much. I think actually PR agencies and the outlets they use, it's kind of outdated. I
Mm,
mean, they send it out. I mean, a press release. Who actually reads about this stuff?
hmm
Where it happens is all the pages on all the socials that repost your shit or repost people recording you at a gig. That's the new PR, you know?
I
That's
kind
what's so important.
I kind of feel like that micro influencing is becoming really strong these days, and I really haven't seen DJs or producers using that strategy before. As in,
No, no, but what you
no,
see is
what I mean with like let's take a brand from the Netherlands who does that very well, and I'm fully into their like funnel, so probably see all of the ads. But what they do is they have like protein bars and stuff, and my
are
whole
you into that?
no, like I buy a few of those
Is it
products,
upfront?
and
You're using them wrong.
I love how they build their brand, so that's
Is it
why I also
upfront?
follow them. But what they
Well,
do
if
is like
it's
they hire these
upfront, yeah,
micro.
I get targeted by those peeps who
Is
are
it
like
upfront, Joey? Because
Yeah, it's
then
upfront.
maybe they can
the
sponsor us.
most honest thing. Yeah, yeah, whatever, dude.
No, but
Yeah,
they have like a lot of these smaller gym influencers with like 5,000, 10,000 followers who all say the same thing about their brand, but it's very effective because it's a nobody, as in I don't know that person, I haven't seen it before, but somehow they all recommend it. So after watching three of those videos, you start thinking this could be something, right? Like let's check it out. And I
yeah,
was
okay,
thinking like as an
yeah, but
artist,
but I don't know if that like maybe it's an affiliate program could also be, but does it
yeah,
really pay out? You don't know.
I
But
don't know.
okay, as an artist, I'm curious
Well,
how
I
you
was
can use
wondering,
it.
like, as an artist, it might be fun to try out to just maybe even pay a couple of DJs to post a simple TikTok video where they play your song.
Now, okay,
That
but
happens already.
here we are. That's man, it's already happening. You have
Even
all these
paying for it?
outlets, people that yeah, I mean you can pay the dancing girls who do
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
yeah,
know,
I
but I
mean
mean like
that's
DJs, as in like
yeah, but why would a DJ actually? How much do a job has to pay me
No,
to make? Yeah,
there's a whole new like type of influencer that like comments on tracks,
yeah, I know
yeah,
that.
and
yeah.
Yeah, I know
The
that.
Majet guy
and
and
you can pay them,
how's
but that's their
Hato
business
from
model. Yeah,
yeah
that's their business
Hado or
model.
Hato.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
that, but I mean like that. For example, that video of the one from Josh that went viral. It's just a DJ playing a song, and just a
yeah.
guy playing, and like that. That's what I mean. and then paying for that.
Yeah, but you cannot. Yeah, I mean, if Josh posts a new video, it doesn't go per se viral. Yeah.
No, it doesn't have to go viral, but that's the thing about micro influencing. Like you reach small amounts of people, but you reach the people like your direct consumer, your direct
Yeah,
fan.
I don't see no, but well, what happens now, what's the most, the biggest thing is either the people who judge the music or the dancing girls, and I'm saying that with a little bit negative feel or something, because I actually like what they do, especially the dancing girls, because for me it's fun. Not because they're
your whole
girls.
your
There's
whole
actually also
algorithm,
guys, but I swipe away the guys.
your whole
Okay, I'm
algorithm is
guilty.
dancing girls.
Yeah. No, but for me it's also a cool way of finding new music. They because
Yeah.
I don't think they accept money. They also curate, they're also curators. And I actually like it to find new music. If you have the girl Daniela, one is called, and the other girl from Belgium, I actually forgot her name, Dotti Chu or something. Um, yeah, they're big on Instagram, and I actually like scrolling through their content because of the music they also do.
Hmm.
And yeah, they like the genre that I also like, so that kind of
Yeah,
helps.
and I
But
also
yeah,
oh sorry.
yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
you can pay them. They're actually really expensive. I know that. And they posted our wake the fuck up. They did blah blah. We never paid. I'm happy we didn't. But it's a good strategy to use to get out there because it's that's the new outlet.
Yeah, it's
And
buying
when you go
awareness.
back to the old outlets, and then you go back to brands, better not to name them, but all the old blogs and everything. I mean, who goes there still?
It's
Hmm.
I think it
Oldies like
can
us?
I
Yeah.
think it can help if you have a track and you can and send it out to those people, pay for it, get them to review it, have a little hype, but a real hype only starts when you make a track, have a track that really everybody actually wants to play.
Yeah,
So
but
that's the
still.
focus, you know.
No, but we when we had Mush Mush and we sent it out to everybody, nobody responded. Then Tiesto picked it up. Well, he played it twice in his radio show. We asked him, "Can you release it?" Yeah, man, no problem. Blah blah blah. Let's do it. And we were hyped about that, by the way. And then everybody started playing it. I mean, of course, you need a good track, but you need
Yeah,
it
it
to
takes
be
a
heard
Tiesto,
somewhere.
but you
Yeah, and
can't
it could
pay.
be me scrolling around
Yeah, but you
saying to
can't pay.
Marlon, "Hey, I actually like this track." Yeah,
True, true. Yeah, very true. You
and
increase your
yeah,
odds of getting found like that.
Yeah.
definitely. And if you then go back to the whole PR thing, I think that's outdated. I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah,
if that helps, and they get to a certain blog somewhere in I don't know where, and
yeah, I
like
agree.
103
And it's like
people read it who actually don't even care. Yeah.
in this day and age, it's just weird. Like, hey, they talk about the new track, and it's instead on TikTok, it's like, hey, it's right there. Here's the
Mm.
track. Like, no, nothing in
And you also
between.
have numerous of page like techno for you too and old
Yeah.
town thing and everything, and they repost shit all the time.
Yeah,
And that's where you want to be. But
yeah. But I,
that's
I
also
always
stuff you cannot buy. But yeah,
you should focus on it a little bit, but like, it's like also focus on the music you're making and try to make that track that everybody wants and that a Tiesto might play.
getting
Um,
played is the best way. Funny
yeah.
story: when we were in New York, there were three girls there, and they were like singing along with "Wake the Fuck Up."
Your wife's listening, Ralph.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, she actually knows the story. You have nothing to hide, man. But they were singing along with blah blah blah, and also wake the fuck up, like really obviously. And so at some point, I got to talk to them and ask them like, "Hey, how do you know us?" and all that kind of stuff. And they were in Italy like a month before. They heard Amelie Lenz play there, and she played blah blah blah. Then they were like, "We like this." Searched up who it was. It was ours. Then they also liked Wake the Fuck Up. They thought it were funny tracks, and then decided, hey, they're playing actually in New York. We live here. Let's go.
Hmm.
But how amazing is that? That's
I
how it
feel
works.
I have a feeling in my throughout my career, it was always more like that in America, where Americans would be way more done their homework. They would fly out to you or drive for hours to come to your set if they've seen you on a certain platform. I've never seen the dedication like that, or never. That's not what I mean. But I always feel like in America it's extra strong. Like they really search for who they want to go see in clubs, but also at festivals. So they really like program their whole timeline,
Mm.
and I think it's amazing. And I think Europeans should focus on this more.
Maybe that has to do with the widespread country, as in it's hard to go somewhere, and in Europe,
Maybe,
it's more easy to visit other places and discover new sounds. And yeah, I think that's
maybe.
also one of the benefits from the Netherlands, right? Everything's so close to each other. There's so many different clubs. Yeah, it's all just
Yeah,
one
and
drive
there's a
away.
lot of festivals where people just they go anyways. So
Mm.
you have to really make a difference for them to notice you even on even on the main stage, which
Mm.
I think is what makes Dutch DJs, especially in the beginning of your career, like work harder and like try to stand out.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah,
true.
it's sometimes also strange.
Let's. I want to show you guys a clip of the week, and because I think we're gonna need some time to talk about that,
Hey,
but
show the jingle.
I don't have it uploaded yet. But it wasn't finished yet, right?
No, but
The
it's
first part
so
sucked.
people
The
can
second.
give feedback on it, and then we can.
Oh wait, I can check if I can upload it
It's not
now.
that big.
I can upload it. Oh wait, I have to download it. Anyway, I'll show you the.
Clip first, and then the
No,
jingle.
I'll just quickly download the jingle. Where did you send it? Oh yeah, yeah,
What's up?
yeah.
It's
Uh,
never gonna beat the community questions jingle, but it's like we
let
need a
yeah, let's
turn
do
down the volume
another
maybe a little bit.
what is it, like, poll. What do we think of this, people? Like, is it a go or no, or no or go, whatever you want to call it?
Hit or
It's
miss?
time for the clip of the week. Clip of the week.
That last part, that's money. That's this.
Clip of the week.
That's money. Clip of
I
the
the
week.
whole thing is funny, but I don't
You
think it's
actually
the right
don't need the
voice.
part before it.
No, that's why I say, like, you need to cut it.
Toot,
As in,
toot,
it's
toot,
Yeah,
just
but
toot.
if
then
it's
it's too
Clip of the
short.
week.
Clip of the week.
just that part.
Just that clip of the week.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Anyway, let us think what
No.
you guys let us
Yeah.
know
Let
what
us
you
think
guys
what you
think. Like,
guys know.
my brain is cooked, like completely cooked. Anyway, I like it, but we just need to cut it up.
Clip of the week.
Okay, clip of the week.
I
Now,
like
oh
it too.
man,
It's your best work to date, Jopke.
exactly.
Thanks.
It's a
Kudos,
compliment, huh? Don't
Yeah, I
forget.
kudos.
appreciate it.
There we go.
Appreciate.
Basic rules, you can go in the studio. You can do two things. You can try to win or you can have fun. Having fun is super important to stimulate your creativity. Go behind the piano, do whatever you want, make whatever genre you want. But if you want to win, look at Billboard, look at who's touring, look at who's doing great, look at who's not doing great. What sounds are they using? What chord progressions are they using? What are they talking about? How many syllables do the lyrics have per chorus? Stupid shit like that. It's absolutely not fun. That's why I said this is a very sensitive subject because people like to believe in the art of the creative, but end of the day, our mind is very limited into the perception of art, and we have things that we like. So I always say the same thing as like if you want to be a chef, are you gonna make a salami sandwich with Nutella? Or are you going to make pancakes with Nutella? People like pancakes with Nutella. Make some pancakes with Nutella. You want to
Yeah,
you
do
want to
your
start a
version of that.
restaurant? Do your version of that.
Yeah.
Don't try to invent the wheel. Use the wheel.
Yeah.
Like cars have four wheels.
Improve it.
Don't
Innovate.
build a car with five wheels or one wheel. It's
Sorry, I'm laughing. It's there's. Can we have more metaphors, please? More
Yeah,
metaphors.
exactly. Like, I just
That's just
thought
funny.
this was a clip we needed to talk about. As in,
It
yeah,
is a sensitive subject.
where do we start?
Can I start by saying he says there's two things. There's two ways basically. No, there's not. There's way more ways. And I think part of what he says is true. Part of what he says is very limited thinking of what you can do and how you can achieve things. But there's a definitely a truth in it. And if you want to win, maybe that's what you got to do. But ask yourself, what is winning, and who are you winning from? It can be put you in a state where it's never enough, because you're never gonna win. There's no end goal to
Yeah.
win. But that's my take.
I think where it becomes complicated is, on one hand, I would say as an artist, you need to be authentic, so do something you want to make. But on the other hand, if you want to win, it helps if you change slightly little, just adapt a little bit and add some things that you just know work. Like as he said, analyze the things that have worked before, the things that we just like as human beings, and put that into your sound. But I'm kind of in the middle, as in I feel like you want to be authentic and you need to implement one of a couple of those things that seems to work. If you're in it to win it, if it's just a hobby, do whatever you want. Don't worry about it. But the minute you decide I'm here to make this my work, my job, my living, that mindset needs to switch.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. It's not called the music business for, yeah, for nothing. And I think also first, what is a win? I think everybody has different definitions of what is a win. But if you want to play the game and you want to play EDC main stage or circuit grounds, kinetic field, whatever, and you want to be relevant in that scene, yeah, you got to play the game. And it means also you need to hustle, be strategic, and approach it as a business. And then you'll lose a little bit of your, let's call it the artistic thing, because you cannot do everything. Of course, we all want to be like Fred again, who I think is like really genuinely like that, traveling the world, using all the sounds. But realistically, we're not all that talented, but still can be relevant. And if you're
Definitely.
not that talented, you better be also a little bit strategic. And of course, you don't have to be a commercial beast that you do whatever the world seems to be asking of you. I don't think it works like that either way. But yeah, it's better to start thinking, okay, where's a gap which I can fill, and make it make sense that I make a certain type of music,
Mm-hmm.
and don't try to too much to um, impress the world with what you think it should be. That doesn't always
That's
work.
that's such a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I think made a few U-turns there.
Yeah, no, but
Could
I
be
like that.
better. Yeah,
I
Pushed
like
it
the
but
in.
thing of like, if you think what it should be, you're always gonna like overanalyze, instead of like you also need to at some point have some kind of tactic and just also roll with it. But it doesn't mean you can still be fully authentic and make it. But like Ralph said, as Fred again would be that case. Also mentioning he did play the game for years, so he's like wrote songs for like Ed Sheeran and stuff.
yeah.
So maybe that brought him to where he could finally be
You know,
different. But
let's throw in another metaphor. Messi apparently never practiced his free kicks, but he was one of the best. Does that mean we shouldn't be practicing our free kicks? No. For most of us, that's not the case. We
Yeah.
should uh, uh, take on the grind and make it work,
yeah,
and do your
um,
shit. I actually
I
thought
also
this
I
was a good point, and I liked what Afrojack said. And
Yeah.
maybe he didn't use the words I would use, or Jopko, or Joey, but he made his point really clear that it's not always just fun and games.
no, I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of nuance to it, because it's like if you analyze everything that's popular now, you're not gonna be relevant tomorrow, let's say. So you also need to adjust for that. But that's also where you will always be you need to leave some room for yourself in there as well, I guess.
But I think that
Mm.
that's the take for me personally is look at what's trending and look at everything what works, but make it your own. It's that last little sentence, as in, if you make all those things your own, there's always some authentic piece or part in the song that sounds like you, and that will come back in every sound that you put out. um like if you listen to Bassjackers tracks from 10 years ago and now, if you would ask fans, there's probably one or two elements that you guys do every single time, and sometimes it's 140 bpm and sometimes it's 130, but there's probably some sort of element in there that fans recognize in some kind of way. And it's probably the same for Jay
Because it sounds
Hardway.
really, really fat.
No, but
Um,
like I remember asking a fan once, like, "Hey, what do you like about my music?" And he said, like, "You always have this minimalistic sound, but super heavy in bass." And I never listened to my songs like that. Like I was way too much into the details. I never really zoomed out on what's my sound, you know. And it happened to be a certain type of sample picking and mixing that people just recognized, just as you recognize a hardware mix. You know, it's a certain
Yeah,
sound.
Hardwell definitely has his sound, but yeah, to be honest, for me lately, man, I go from left to right. I hear so much cool stuff
Hmm.
that I also want to do so much, make it also as cool as what I hear. That's the challenge.
but I think you're
Uh,
always gonna sound like you without even
Yeah.
realizing. Even if you're gonna remake, let's say you make a song in the style of Marlon Hofstad or whatever, or Kiki, you will sound like Ralph, but in that style, which is the cool thing, and is also why I think Afrojack is saying this. To like, yeah, you can be all like, no, I'm gonna create something super different with a
mm,
violin, or hey, if I stay in that lane, I come up with my own version of that, and that's the cool thing.
yeah, I think that's
What
a
I
good
think
tip as well.
Yeah.
he means. But I also think what's really important if you're starting out or further in your career, doesn't really matter, is what do you want? Because then, well, what's more important is fun. We talk about fun a lot, but I think fun is kind of irrelevant. If you think about, you have to think about what do you want? What do you want to achieve? And what are you willing to do that? Because anything in life that's going to come with fun stuff and
It's
not fun
always
parts.
it's always about making decisions and accepting the downsides of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And
There's
you need to figure out, hey, what do you want?
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, if you want to be on the main stage of EDC, you better like analyze what it takes to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you
But
have to
some
make
people
some
can also say, hey,
sacrifices.
I don't want to make that. Um, I just want to play locally, or I want to play maximum for 500 people. Also fine, but I think it's good to stand still with, hey, what do you want? Because I think it can be dangerous that you're like chasing someone else's dream, and then
Yep.
you're there and you're like, and I think Avicii is what I'm thinking of a little bit. It's like, now I got all this money and all these shows, but that's not really what I wanted.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make music. So I
Wrote
think
a book
that's
about it.
very important.
You can
Yeah,
write a
yeah,
book about
exactly.
it.
Read Joey's book and his second book. But
No,
it's
but it's
yeah,
true.
that's
You know,
also really important.
eventually, if you don't think what you want, you end up chasing somebody else's dream. You phrased
Yeah.
it perfectly.
You're
That's
But
what
gonna be
this is
happens.
unhappy with
life
the dream
lesson. I
life.
mean, there's people who turned lawyer thinking this, accountant, and
Exactly.
whatever.
Exactly. Okay, cool. Let's continue to the community questions.
Community questions.
This is how you do it, Jobke. Um,
This is how you
every
do.
week we accept questions from the community in the Discord.
Tell that to
Where
Suno, by the way.
was it Suno?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Same thing. But it's yours sounded well. So I'm gonna cut it and use it. We accept questions from the community every week on the Discord, where you can send in the questions. Yeah, and we answer those questions in this episode. So let's go to the first question. It's a more production minded question since Ralph asked for it. It's a question from Mikey Foden. Is cutting under 30 hertz a thing?
Not per se, but yeah, could be a thing. Um, yeah, I'm not specifically doing it. No.
I think what he means is like at least when I was making music, it was a thing that you
Yeah.
just cut it off because it was useless.
Yeah. could be, but if you have the right mix down, it's not going to be an issue anyway. So I think it's stuff that at some point people were saying it. Also heard that the sausage fattener cuts everything underneath at 20.
Okay.
Yeah, you do it. There's no use, so you can cut it. Why not? Yeah, but to
Okay.
be honest, if you do the mix down, it's not gonna have a lot there anyway because yeah, you're gonna cut it when you put in your kick and tweak that, and when you use your subs, yeah, you're gonna probably cut it there or not. Yeah, it won't be in there too much anyway.
Okay. So it's not too
I don't.
much of a thing.
For me, it's not really a thing. But actually, it would be interesting to look it up, like what the real technical peeps say about it.
Well,
Yeah,
didn't
you
it
don't want to
didn't it
be have it in there too much. Yeah,
didn't it have more to do with the fact that you don't hear those frequencies and most sub basses don't
then you
go that
can go
low?
louder. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
so
take them
you
away.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So you take them away so you can push the whole thing louder.
yeah. But for me, I think it works marginally. Yeah,
Okay. It's
but
not
I'm
too much.
actually not sure. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe that's what I'm
Uh,
missing.
question from Mr. Josh Letizier. I saw the latest James Hype vlog about EDC about his EDC set and that he paid $12,000 for fireworks, pyro, and other special effects for his show to add more wow factor. This seems completely ridiculous to me that big artists have to pay extra for this. But he said, but the sad thing is, if I put myself in his shoes, I would end up doing the same thing because of social media and wanting to give the crowd a good time. Curious to hear your thoughts.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's the illusion of that things that cost money all of a sudden wouldn't cost any money. It's someone has to pay for the extra fireworks.
Yeah.
So you can have a deal with a festival where, hey, this is my rider, and this is all the fireworks I have. They might agree on some. They think some is too many, but usually then it's very common for artists to then have, hey, I want to have a big fireworks show. Yeah, who's gonna pay for it? It's gonna be the artist. I think it's
Yeah, I gotta say, it depends on how it goes because we have been dealing with this quite a few times, and sometimes it goes like this: you'll get the spot, and they will say, well, there will be like streamers, pyro, CO2, whatever, and with this amount, do you want the extra package? So they offer it to you.
Okay.
Let's say 3,750 euros, and then you'll get like XYZ added on top. That's a way different than reversing it, that the artist would ask like, hey, I want some more fireworks, can I do that? I'm willing to pay for it, you know. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
Uno reverse. And for me, the first one always felt a little bit like, okay, so you're kind of making back your fee you
It's
just
a
paid
business
me.
model.
Give me a little bit. I mean, make sure the show will be good, and just like make it a little bit universal. Okay, if you book Garrix behind after us, I get it. He gets a little bit more. We're totally fine with it, you know. But don't make it like this again, like this. Put your dick on the table contest. And I don't know if that's a real way of saying it in English, but it is in Dutch. And yeah, I don't really like the things. I don't like how that goes. Gives me a little bit of wrong feeling. But I also agree with Josh, if we get the option, and we got it numerous of times, and we always opted, let's do it. Let's
for
make the
for the crowd, for the
experience.
socials.
Yeah, because it works. Whenever you have a drop and
Yeah.
those streamers go, everybody will go, woo!
Yeah.
And then you post that, and everybody will listen, see it, and think like, wow, I
Yeah.
want
yeah,
to go there.
and you can post about how you paid more for it. So that's also another piece of content. That's what James Hype 100% thinks of when he
Yeah, but
adds
it's
that to his
cool
show.
that he gives the look behind the scenes because I
Yeah,
would
I
never
know, but
think of
it's
doing
like
it. And
you
yeah.
also it's also like realizing how calculated this industry is.
Hmm.
Someone like James Hype with the whole that James Hype might be the most calculated guy. It's very smart. It's like the deadmau thing had a life of its own. He knew exactly what he was doing. This kind of things, these kind of comments, it makes people talk about it, and I think
Yeah.
that's genius marketing. And I don't know if it's gonna make exactly the 12,000 back literally, but hey, man, that's a good marketing campaign.
Yeah.
If
It's also
a
funny
lot
how
of people are
marketing
talking about it now.
sometimes works because also see a lot of artists that actually are like genius at marketing, but don't like uh, position themselves that way or make it known that they're actually marketing you. And then people think they're like, oh wow, I love how artistic the person is. That's
Mm.
my sometimes I go like, wow, this is so genius. And because you're working in here, you actually like recognize it from the instant that like, okay, this is a little bit fake, but fuck it. It's also just entertainment and people like to be deceived. To be honest, most of the persons that go out with this artistic look, they're usually actually the most marketing capable people there are. The 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 worst at marketing, they actually look like me with a stupid blouse on and didn't think of what they were wearing, you know?
Blouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but it is. If they look too I mean if they look out of the ordinary, it's probably really well thought of.
Yeah. I
The
want
ordinary guys
It's like
just were
Steve
they
Jobs.
just went out like, okay, what's clean today? Yeah.
But it's
you.
like Steve Jobs. He always wore the exact same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that
but
was
That
that
kind of
but that
stuff.
was
It's
to
just
save like space in his mind to not think about what to wear, what to
yeah,
wear.
but also he knew also it's also
Sure.
a brand.
yeah.
Simplicity.
And
Everything on
that's
that
oh yeah,
stage,
that's
like
also if you think positive about a person, then you will just like Joey now because he's probably a Steve Jobs fan and go like, no, it's because to save, you know, you just eat the story
marketing
up and
worked.
like go like, oh,
Marketing
give me
worked.
more.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
actually,
yeah.
if you wouldn't have liked him, you would be like, eh, man, he's such a fake, and
He's lazy. He
it's
doesn't
funny how it works.
shop for
Yeah.
clothes. Yeah,
Yeah. True.
true, true.
Another question from Jelly Boner.
Uh,
You have been in this industry for a long time. Do you remember some of your most awkward moments? Could be in the studio or on tour.
many, too many to
Pooh.
count.
Oh man, where to even begin? Oh, we
Awkward
have still
moments.
15 minutes. Oh, I remember one time it was so awkward. I was in the studio with this guy for the whole day, but he was like swaggy and all, and at some point I had to leave, and I just want to give him like a normal handshake or something, but he was like, "Let's bring it in,"
Like
and then
this.
I was like hugging the guy like this, like, "Hey,
Was
okay,
this
hey,
me?
bye," and
Was it someone
man,
else?
at that point it just feels so awkward.
Uh, that's my favorite thing. If I spot someone or somebody on TV where somebody wants to box him and they just handshaking,
Yeah.
you know, like
Oh man, that's
I love the awkwardness of it. Like
Yeah, you
it's
yeah.
have to also address that it's awkward because if you don't, it's
yeah,
the if
then
it's
it's the
not
worst.
addressed, what
Yeah,
just
or
happened,
not.
that
It's
makes it
only
worse.
awkward if you let it be awkward, you
Yeah,
know?
No, you
So,
have to
fuck it.
mention it
yeah.
right away. You have to say like, "Oh, that was awkward." If you don't do that, if it's not acknowledged,
Yeah,
it's a
Yeah.
horror
true. I think
horror.
We
for
will never
me,
see each other again.
I think for me, one of the most awkward things that happened, I think we've talked about it before, was when I kicked out the what's the word, like
Epic
the adapter.
motherfucker.
No, I was playing on Radio 538,
Oh, you
the
kicked out
biggest,
the socket, the power
yeah,
socket.
the power socket. Yeah, I was playing on the Dutch radio station, when the biggest one in the Netherlands. I was playing a live set there together with Kill the Bus, and I kicked out the power socket behind me, so the whole music stopped, all the power was off, and nobody knew what was happening live. And it's on YouTube. That's the fun part. You can still watch it if you want.
Yeah? Oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna watch it.
yeah.
I
I'll
have
put
Clip
it
of
a
the
in the
week.
community. Huh?
I have a
Clip of the week. No, what
still
was
a
it again?
video on my phone where I'm playing in Mexico for well a lot of people, and it was 2014, so I was like not very experienced yet. I mean, I could DJ, but these kind of big things. And I started, and then I accidentally press play again. So I or the cue, whatever. So it stops, and I'm like, I'm not sure if it was me. And then the mic wasn't working, or I thought it wasn't working, but it was just not on the boot. So I was like screaming to the stage, but the mic isn't working. He's like, no, it is, it is. And then yeah, it's just that stuff happens
Oh
a lot
man.
actually. But that one I do remember very much.
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah,
Like a
yeah. But
clown
that's the
show.
funny thing. Then you already feel like, because I was so early in my career, like, oh, I shouldn't be there in a way. Like you have kind of that, like, this is huge, like, and then you
Mm.
mess it up. And you're like, oh, they must think I'm faking
Yeah.
it, like true imposter syndrome.
But 9 out of 10 times you realize that the crowd really doesn't matter. Like if the music keeps going after 10 seconds or 20 seconds and you continue, like
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't I at that point I quickly recovered, and I think a lot of times the music just falls out, or you accidentally press play. It doesn't matter. You just pick up the mic and say something, and I mean that can happen.
you know what
Um,
I think I think did Marlon had this before that he fell off stage? Who
that's
was this? Like
Julian Jordan, he broke his ankle at some point.
there was this video of a DJ who fell off the stage. Oh, I can't
I've
remember.
seen Steve Aoki going with he had a trampoline,
A
and
trampoline?
then yeah, and then he jumped on the trampoline and like mislanded, and
Oh,
I think it
and,
knocked him out.
and why was the trampoline there to jump on stage?
Yeah, because he did the cakes and the tram. He
Yeah,
was like Circus Aoki.
yeah. That was actually fun as well. Like I played with him in Greece once. I played before him or after him. After him, and that's where I got to see the whole circus from the backstage, as in how all those things were arranged.
Yeah,
That
it's really
yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
it's pretty insane to watch
It's
how that goes.
that's also a good lesson maybe for people. It's like you think, oh, I just throw some cakes, but the amount of planning that goes into
Dude,
these cakes with all the festivals and promoters, it's
yeah,
insane.
it's
It has to be
like
the
His
right
team,
cake.
his team is one of the
Crazy.
most professional there is, and also I think people underestimate how hard he works. He does like a gazillion gigs a year. Then goes, you see him at every award show. You see him doing like a photography and everything. He's like, man, he's out there a lot. Might be
It
even two Steve Aoki's. I'm actually not sure, but it seems that way.
he's
it
also
made
He
me
works
doing
hard.
appreciate festival organized to another level as well, because you just realize they plan a lot around
Mm.
you, around the set. If there's a closing show, and as a DJ, you literally come in and everything's set up, and then you leave, but you don't realize like the amount of planning goes in. And um, always good to realize, every how no matter how big you are, say hi to the stage manager, say
yeah,
hi to the sound guy if you get a chance, say thank you after. That kindness can go a long way.
yeah,
Yeah.
true.
There's another
Um,
question that you missed, I think. Two production questions.
where?
Discord.
Production
That's from last week,
questions.
right?
22nd. I
From
don't think
Earn.
that's last week, eh? That's the Thursday, eh?
Okay. Production question. I watched some Ralph and Jay videos on producing, and it seemed like on Mixer I don't see single elements panned. Everything playing in the middle, and it sounds amazing, but when you read in forums, people always tend to say only kick and bass should play in the middle, and everything else should be panned at least slightly.
Yeah, it's not like we produce everything mono.
I mean, that depends. I think panning you can do with multiple ways instead of the channel panning. You can also pan the sample. So if you have a hi-hat loop, sometimes you can pan a little bit left or right, so you won't see it in the mixer.
Yeah,
Um,
what was said? I
he
actually,
said like there's no panning on our mixer channel, so on the main mixer
no,
channels.
no, no.
I
Yeah,
mean, you could, but
sometimes do it. Yeah.
it can be done on the sample, so it's done more. And sometimes you like use a ozone imager or something to stereoize a sound, which doesn't leave it in the middle, but then left and right, so you wouldn't really pan it. So it is done, but you just don't
I
see it on
I
the.
barely use the left or right panner anyway.
Mm.
It's not that like I have a certain sound on the left, another one on the right. If I use it, it's probably for automation in a riser or something or vocals.
That's what I always admired when I listened to certain songs where certain elements have been panned completely to the left and completely to the
Hmm.
right, and somehow they managed to make it sound a whole, as in I don't bother that it's just there or that it's there. Like it's such a weird thing, the whole stereo
It's a
imaging thing.
choice. It's a choice of sounds and where they
Yeah.
go. And I think in the 70s and stuff, a lot of big rock songs did it.
Yep.
Whereas
Exactly.
where I remember listening to my Discman sometimes with one ear in on the bike, and then a song would be
No
empty.
vocal.
It would be like it's not working, but it was like only the intro had only like a flute on the left or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think that were just bold choices by producers, which turned out to be a lot of legendary songs. Maybe it's we could be more bold, I think, in dance music. But then
You know
again,
that
the main
I'm
foundation of a
actually not
track
sure what it's called, but it's a Boris
is
Brejcha
in the
song
middle.
which I love. And he has this one tick, like slightly panned to the right. And I just don't understand why, because then I'm listening in the car and it annoys me. It just annoys me. And yeah, for the rest, I mean, it's in my playlist. I have
Which song
92
is this?
tracks there, and it's one of the best 92 records I think there is. And I revisit it the whole time, so I
Which song is
really
this?
like the track. Huh?
Which song is this?
I actually don't know. I have to look it up.
Hmm.
One of Boris Brejcha main ones. But then I just don't. I I don't understand why you would like, or you must be like really genius in where you really put it. But for me, it also always has to be like,
Yeah. Well, the
it
thing
has
is
to
that
be
w-
symmetric. Yeah.
when I was in the Rock Academy, there were a few guys there, a few classes higher, who were called the Plenty Herbs. I'm not sure if they still make music, but we I signed them on my label as well back then. You can find it on Spotify. They made insane. I think it was tech house, if you would call it like that, like deep house tech house, and insanely produced. And they used a lot of those panning tricks where certain elements were really located to the left or really located to the right, and it worked like a charm. So I really appreciate it if people take
It
that bold state and say,
I think it needs to. Sorry, I think it needs to balance out.
it does, yeah, but
For
finding that balance is the trick, that's very
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
But I really enjoy it if producers manage to yeah, to make it work.
Yeah. For me, it's not a real big
No,
issue.
and I was also gonna say, like, for if you're playing the music on a festival, the main thing that matters isn't that little hi-hat that's on the left. It's like the big kick and the bass and that part
And
is so much more important.
the
Yeah,
energy overall. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
How
We're
do you feel then about this? Maybe we should talk about it next week. Next week, Dolby Surround, and it's. I
oh
feel
dude,
like the industry is trying to push this so hard,
Mm.
but I'm not too sure. But
honestly, I think events that will have that sound, as in like that goes
I
around
don't
you.
even like it in my car.
Oh, I love it, man. Like I love it when like a certain element just does this, like goes around, and it just
Yeah,
adds a
but
different element
in
dimension.
my
I can tell
view,
you this, like all your favorite producers don't make it Dolby Surround themselves.
No,
We
oh
it
no,
just
I
could
send it
be.
out and
yeah.
they make it for
Hey
you.
guys, it could be Bitcoin or it could be NFTs. It could like
What?
be it could be popular and
Oh,
actually last, or it could be like NFTs, like a little bit of a hype and then
well,
dies
I
down.
once made a commercial for a Dutch insurance company where I had to replicate where you heard somebody walking towards a boat, and then they stepped into the boat, and then they went into the waters, and you kind of heard all those sounds, and there was no image, just the sound, and they wanted that sound to take you on that journey. So it needed to be 3D, or how you wanted to call it, 8D, I believe they called it. But I I I
8D.
I, I dived into
In
that.
10 years we have
I dived
250D.
Yeah, but
Oh
I've
man.
dived into it, and I've managed to make that commercial. But I really enjoyed making it because you that sound really pulls you into the story, because you can hear somebody walking behind you, and then just walking past you, and you can hear the waves going. And yeah, I think it's a great
Hey,
technology.
for anything cinematic, fuck it. But we're talking about dance music
Yeah.
here, and
Yeah,
I
but with
really
dance
don't
music, with
care.
with dance music, what I really love, I've been to what's this guy's name again? He was in the Rock Academy as well, and he turned out to be a big minimal DJ, techno DJ back then. What was his name? Anyway, he did a live set on Ableton back then in Dolby Surround. Pooh, that was sick. I loved it because all those elements start moving around you, and it was a whole different dimension. It's an extra dimension.
Still don't care.
Okay, to everybody listening,
That's that, and
we
with that we conclude the.
exactly. We will be back
That's the
next
nice thing,
week.
you know. You can
Ralph
always say that. Dude,
Ralph won't be
don't
there
care.
next week, right? You will be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just Jay and me, maybe another guest. We'll see next week. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe.
Not one more production question. I like those, but
There was
that's
one more from the guy,
yeah.
I think.
Come on,
Dude,
man. Let's
you're
stretch it up. Do you have to be somewhere, Jopke? Joey.
yeah, you're cutting down the whole goddamn ending. Where's the
Wow.
question? Um, actually, to add on this, sort of, the question is from Ern, by the way. Sort of the same question follows to gain staging phrase again. What the? My brain's done. Jay, can you read it?
Actually, to add to this, sort of the same question follows the gain staging. Again, after reading forums and Reddit, hearing people opinions seem like everyone has this rule: kick minus 10 dB, snare minus 8, etc., etc. But the same thing watching Ralph J and production and even Chris Lake. I don't know why that even Chris Lake,
Even
man. We're on
even
that level
even
too, man.
him,
Come on.
like he's here, you're
Seems
there.
like nobody followed these things. Am I missing to understand something here,
No,
or
no, but you're totally right. I do it since a year of 3 now or 2. Yeah, you have to on your mixer. You have to. I mean, just take the minus 60B and then amp it up on your master. I totally agree. But it can work without, but
I think yeah,
it
it
works better
just
with.
I think for a technical, solid sounding master that will work well in a live environment, it's important. But in my production, I focus mainly on the idea and the feel of that, and then I have a track that's playable but could be more tight in the low end, for example, or in the high end, and then I send it out to mastering.
Yeah,
Um,
but the thing is, it's actually so logical. If you uh, steer it out too loud from your
yeah,
mixers to your master, how are you gonna master? You have to
yeah,
cut
but
it
that's
off,
why
and your
I sent all
sound
the
will
parts.
change anyway. So,
Yeah.
but I never did that, and in hindsight, it was such a stupid choice.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Because
adds to the
yeah,
sound, you know. You produce. It's sometimes I threw like a full on limiter that's not even the perfect limiting that you want
no,
on
but
there most
if you
bands.
steer the sound out like
Yeah,
plus 2 dBs, you will
yeah, but
change your
sometimes
sound anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
it will. But that's why sometimes it worked, you know, on a certain
I know,
lead. It
but then
would
it's gonna be a gamble and not
true, true. No,
knowledge and
that's yeah. Then you have
technique. Yeah.
those happy accidents. What Cashmere talks about with his like a G6. So it's not a great foundation per se, but without that, I would never have created a track like Bootcamp. So and that has done very well for me. Even Calvin Harris sampled it. Calvin, you're still ripping off people's songs.
Stop
But
doing
like
it.
it's but then let's say also focus on breaking the rules and then have the Afrojack part where you're like, hey, also play by the rules
Yeah.
and kind of
I
implement
would
from
let
both.
go the like the kick has to be -10 and the bass is the I just that's a feelings thing, but
It needs to be
nothing
headroom.
should go in too loud on your master. If
True.
something peaks way beyond that -6 dB, yeah, that's of no use. You're gonna cut it anyway, so could might as well just leave it in there and see whatever happens. But then it gets on a more of a yeah, you're more gambling that it will be nice, you know, and it's less based on knowledge, so you can reproduce the same level and same quality over and over again. That's also a big point. I actually
Okay.
didn't know, don't know how Chris Lake does it. I think he's one of the best, so I take no offense in the even Chris Lake.
No, I was just
That
kidding.
that fe- that
Although
felt
I must
personal.
say, come on, man,
Yeah.
pretty on par,
Maar ik
Give
but
vind
me
wel
some
dat
credit.
jij ik vond wel dat jij op Chris leek.
ah man, he did it.
Okay, that's my cue. Um, we're gonna end this episode. We
Alright.
will be back next week. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels, leave comments, share it with your mates, your buddies, your DJ producer friends.
Go to
And
the park, see the people who walk their dogs, tell the dogs to say to their bosses, like,
all
hey,
of
yeah,
them.
and there's this artist podcast. You really need to listen back in the car when we go home and make sure it gets spread.
Exactly. And then we will be back next week with another fresh
Are you
episode.
doing a mushroom or?
Enjoy
I
your day.
potato you.
Oh, I thought it was like, yeah, it can be everything, like a head.